Caitlin Clark, WNBA Rookie of the Year magazine. Order your copy today online or buy it at retail stores and newsstands everywhere. It took only a few practices at his new assistant coaching job at Dowling Catholic High School in West Des Moines, Iowa, for Scott Babinett to realize the rare opportunity in front of him. You're never going to believe this, but we are coaching a player that will become the female version of Steph Curry in many people's minds, Babinett recalls telling his friend over the phone in 2016. Babinett, who had moved from the Bay Area to West Des Moines, was used to watching Curry's dazzling play for the Golden State Warriors. But in his 20-plus years of coaching experience, he hadn't coached a player with a similar skill set to Curry. Until he met Caitlin Clark. Quickly cementing herself as a varsity starter for the Dowling Catholic girls basketball team as a freshman, Clark was anything but intimidated. Dowling head coach Kristen Meyer specifically remembers two plays Clark made during her first team camp, held at Creighton University. A three-quarter court bounce pass and a behind-the-back toss that perfectly set up her teammates at the rim. It kind of shocked everyone in the gym just that she had the guts to do it, but also that she was able to execute it so well, Meyer says. Along with Clark's prolific passing came shots from well behind the arc and an advanced basketball IQ relative to her peers. Clark's mention of movements, positioning, and mismatches on the court made Meyer feel like she was talking to another coach in the huddle. Ella McVeigh, who was Clark's high school teammate from 2017 to 20 and currently plays softball for the University of Michigan, says Clark was always 3 or 4 steps ahead of everyone else. When it was time for the team to come together and watch film of their next opponent, Clark had already studied the tape 2 or 3 times. She already knew the other team's tendencies, had a good idea of who was going to guard her, and had created a plan to expose said defender. Clark frequently texted McVeigh and the rest of her teammates to shoot with her outside of practice. What started with Clark alone in the gym would soon turn into a group of 10 players putting in extra reps. Of course, she always made sure that she was the first person to get to extra shooting, so she could get extra shooting before the extra shooting, McVeigh says with a laugh. Clark would see the game in slow motion, often passing the ball to places her teammates didn't even know they were going to be in, leading to drop passes and missed buckets. McVeigh says Clark played too fast for the referees most of the time too. Of course, she always made sure that she was the first person to get to extra shooting, so she could get extra shooting before the extra shooting, McVeigh says with a laugh. Clark would see the game in slow motion, often passing the ball to places her teammates didn't even know they were going to be in, leading to drop passes and missed buckets. McVeigh says Clark played too fast for the referees most of the time too. The difference in skill paired with the standards Clark set for herself and her teammates naturally caused some frustration. While Meyer says Clark's attitude wasn't mean-spirited and didn't affect the chemistry of her team because they all got to know each other outside of basketball, it was still a concern. As Clark became more of a household name across America, more college coaches started showing up at open gyms and games. Meyer didn't want Clark's body language to be a reason why Spindle's no. 4 overall recruit didn't get to go to her dream school. Meyer says she had several conversations with Clark about how she carried herself and showed Clark how she appeared on film. She understood that it wasn't good. It didn't help the team. It didn't help her play better. Meyer says of Clark's reactions to a call by a ref or drop pass, but also she gets so into the moment that she can't help herself. When Meyer put Clark on the bench during a game,